My mother before she died, used to accuse me that I spent my whole life creating anecdotes so I could write a book. My name is Gordon Zuckerman, and I've just finished writing a second book of a three-part trilogy called Crude Deception, which deals with the corruption within the oil industry. In 1946, after the completion of the Second World War, all of the Axis and Japanese oil production sources were taken away from them. So they naturally were put back into the American and British oil companies. 7 oil companies ended up controlling 92% of the world's oil production. What this book is about is that these 7 oil companies are going to try to control 92% of the world's future oil production. And the main characters, or the heroes in the book, their quest is to figure out how to make sure that doesn't happen. Besides the plot and the emotional development of the characters, it's just as important to look at this whole idea of independent leadership. If you can't look to the government for leadership, and you can't look inside corporations because they have their own set of biases, where does the leadership come from to create the kinds of changes necessary to make important things happen? The original Sentinels in the book Fortunes of War, they're working on a doctoral thesis at Berkeley, and they start to study different civilizations back 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years. What they begin to find out is that there's reoccurring cycles of corruption in all these different societies. Once they take that template and begin to apply it to more contemporary situations, although the time frames are much shorter, the same 7 elements continue to exist. Many of the main characters in the first book appear in the second book. It's similar in that the same sentinels identify a new crisis that, if left unattended, is going to cause a lot of trouble. The purpose of the book is to examine what kinds of problems have to be solved, and whose cooperation is needed, and whose resistance you have to defend against in order to make sure that the conspiracy does not occur. Because I choose to tell the story through the evolving lives of the main characters, I felt that it's important to focus on their lives, both emotional in terms of their relationships with other people, and their personal growth as they continue to develop the skills necessary to solve the ascending problems that are coming along. I hope that the balanced reader will say, I thought the characters were really neat, or they'll say, did this plot really happen?